One love to the humble, one love to the humble, one love to the humble. May grace and peace be multiplied unto you. So I got a request from the good brother Trey Day, and he got a question for me. Well, not for me, it's for the group, but he made a request for this video, so I'm gonna make it. And his question was the difference between, well, not the difference between, but why is it that black women of the day would not be like those of the 60s and before? And I'm gonna clear up some myths real quick, because a lot of myths been spun around purposely to deflect or to make situations seem other than what they were. Number one is um, men were not beating women at a high rate back then. That was not the case. Were there some cases? Yes. That was not overall the case. That right there gets pushed way to the top a little bit too much than it should. It did happen, not on that scale. The other thing is what's the other part of it? Um, oh yeah, the multiple uh, families all over the place. That you get spun around. That men back then had, well, black men back then had multiple families. Did you see? Have you ever did the research and seen how much money they was making back then? If you think that that's what they could afford to do that, then you go ahead and believe that lie. That's not the way it was. Were there some doing it? Of course, there's always going to be some doing it, because there's always going to be some that can afford it. Just like today, that's why the millionaires play the way they play. The millionaires can do what they want because they got the money. Those average people, you can't afford to be having all that going on. Anyway, those are two things I wanted to clear up real quick. But to answer the question is because back then we all played a role in each other's lives, especially in the black community. The black community needed each other. We really needed each other back then. We need each other still to this day, but back then we really needed each other because of the way things were. We was kind of dependent upon each other to survive, and everybody played their position. Everybody played their part to help build a family, to keep the family structure together, and raise the kids in a household with values. No household is the best. No household is perfect. There's always going to be flaws. There's always going to be things that's not good. So you can always point those things out. But there's also a lot of things that's good, that is good. So, but we tend not to talk about the things that go well. We tend to talk about always the negative things. We push those to the top as if that's what the whole thing is built on. Like there is always just good days all the time. That's not true. In a relationship, you're dealing with two people with two different personalities. There's going to be clashes. If anybody is in any kind of relationship where it's always good every single day, what that tells me is somebody's bowing down and they're just being passive and they're not saying anything. They're just going along to get along. But if you have two adults together with two personalities and they're both expressing their personality, there's going to be a clash. Anyway, so back then we played our positions. The roles were clear understanding roles of what we both was going to do. This person was going to do this and this person was going to do that. And that was understood. And the respect was there. Everybody respected each other for the most part. The respect was there. And we depended on each other to get through. Neither had much, but we had each other. And we built relationships and built foundations based upon that respect and understanding that we had together. Kids were raised in that environment of a two-parent household, in the proper nuclear family setting. That's the way it was. The man went out to work, women stayed home and took care of the children, which was the best situation for the children instead of sending them off to school. I mean, not really school, but sending them off to daycare, having somebody else instill in your children something that you didn't instill in them. You want it to be you, and the mother would want to be the one instilling the things into the child, not the daycare center teachers or whoever. Okay, that's the first thing. Then when it comes to the struggle and the fight, everybody stood together as one versus being divided because everybody was suffering from the same type of things. This was before um, the things we see today had took over. Feminism was going on, but it hadn't really turned into what it turned into today. It's all about hatred today. It ain't even about what it used to be about no more. Now it's just simply, I hate you. So that's then. Moving to today's time, we have overcorrected because there was some, during that time there were some things that women wasn't doing or wasn't allowed to do. That their laws weren't in their favor in a lot of situations. That is true. So what they did was they could make corrections for that. They fixed it. They tried to correct, but they kind of overcorrected. But that's going to happen because you don't. Where is it? How you draw the line and say, okay, this is enough. You don't know where the line is. You just making things better than what they used to be. So that's the case. So they made things better. They was given a whole lot more things, but now there is no more respect. So today's society, they don't like males. Men are hated in a lot of situations today because being a man is considered bad, and not for everybody. But I'm saying the overall picture of a man is negative because we've taken on the lens is no longer. People don't see men as what they used to. So we're looked at as not what we used to. We're not looked at as respected anymore. So when you take that out of the way, you take the man out of the household. And I'm speaking on black community. Take the man out of the household, and you make him look like he's nothing. Structure goes away. Men bring structure. Point blank. Period. Whether you like him or not, that's just it's built in. It ain't something that we can turn off or on. It's built in. We can hold it down and not express it, but it's built in. And when you take away the respect and you take away him out of the household, you're left with the woman having to do everything on her own. And once she begins to do everything on her own, she don't see the point of him being there. Like, I've been doing this all by myself. And then when you start that cycle, that mentality, it becomes more and more hatred towards the opposite because, like, I'm doing this by myself. And now it's become like a badge of honor to be doing it alone. You see what I'm saying? You get if I reward you for doing something like that, then you're going to continue to do it and you're going to take pride in doing it that way. So that's why it can never be the same because of the culture today doesn't support the way it used to. Things are very off and very different these days. The balance is off. So what you see is a direct result of the culture and what we support and how we see things. The black community for the longest time has been ran by women. There's no question about it. That's who's been in charge. Men are not in charge in the black community. It haven't been since the civil rights, since after civil rights. And that's why it can't be the same. Because if you look around, look at the things that's happening now. They say, well, I'm empowered. Empowerment means I'm going to get naked to show the world. Empowerment means I'm going to show myself all over social media. That's empowering. Whenever sexuality or being naked or sleeping with whoever becomes empowerment, you're in trouble. If you take away the man, the structure out of a community, the community is about a nation that's going to fall. So a community is going to fall without structure. That's where we at. And men are scared to be leaders now and say anything because they don't want to be looked at as this bad guy or they don't want to be offending anyone. So we back down and cower down. And when you do that, everybody suffer. If you leave them up to their own devices, they choose wrong. Nobody's saying if you want to sleep with the world, go ahead. But this is being done out in the public, not behind closed doors. Because they'll say, well, men do it too. Yeah, but men don't do it in public. Men not showing their bodies off in public. Men are not, because you can't. Men, nobody wants to see it. Men are not doing those things. We're not making videos showing our private parts. Just exposing ourselves for the world to see. This is empowering because men don't supposed to control a woman's sexuality like men don't have sexuality as well. But we preserve ours to privacy. They want to show theirs to the world. This is why we'll never go back to that way again because the morals, the ethics, the shame is gone. There is no more of that. So long as when you take those things away, you got a community that's on the road to destruction because you don't have no shame, no more, no dignity, no respect. Without it, you can't go nowhere. And women are teach the children. So if that's what's going on, what do you think the next generation gonna learn? And ain't nobody on this that I know of that's been separated from their father gonna while they growing up, gonna listen to their father. They're gonna whatever their mother say is what they're gonna follow. If she talk trash about the father, then the father ain't nothing because she said so, not because the child knows so. It's because of what she say. Father want to be with her, then he also don't like the child. That's the way it's put out when it's completely wrong. So we are completely divided today. I don't know what's going to mend the gap and bring us back together, but it's a war. And I don't know who started this war. It's a psyop on the black community to separate and divide these families and divide us like this. It's a psyop. And something got to change drastically for us to get better. And I don't know what that's going to be. But that's my answer. And I hope I answered it good enough. But that's the best way I could. All right. Thank y'all for watching. Y'all take care.